going on, everybody? This is Under the Arch Sports. I'm Eric Hobbs.
And I'm David Woldingen.
And today we're going to talk about the St. Louis Blues and how this next stretch that they're in the midst of, they decide if they're going to be buyers, sellers, or some awkward spot in between going forward. Before we get into that, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Right. So, David, as of us filming this, it's Saturday afternoon. The Blues are sitting here 21-19-3, 45 points, playing Tampa tonight and Saturday afternoon, as I said. Where do you see this team right now?
Well, as you said, we have this home stretch going on right now. The Blues are currently sitting out of the wild card spot right now, and they're 4 points behind that. Honestly, I kind of think they're falling in that in between on the buyer seller thing. You have injuries to Tarasenko and O'Reilly, among others on the team. So we have a lot of young talent coming up to fill these spots. I don't know how sustainable this is going forward, just because you got a lot of young, inexperienced guys playing these games.
Yeah, at this moment, the Blues are kind of in that dreaded, awkward middle spot where they're not good enough to make the playoffs, but not bad enough to have a really good draft pick. So, knowing the Blues front office, they're not going to tank. They certainly think that if they get healthy, they're going to be fine, which, we'll see. This homestand, the Blues played their back-to-back games against Calgary, 1 win, 1 loss. They've got 5 more home games in a row, and then a game at Arizona, and Arizona's terrible. The game Saturday night against Tampa, that's the hardest one in this stretch. And they're good. They're 26-13, 153 points. They're not unstoppable. I mean, they're good, not great. Third in their division, but everybody else is at the Blues level or maybe below. So the Blues absolutely have got to take advantage of this homestand if they want to make any sort of playoff noise for this season. But David, as we were just talking about, the Blues as a franchise are at a point where they kind of need to look more beyond just getting into the playoffs and then getting swept by Dallas or whoever for this season. They need to look beyond.
Yeah. Currently, they have a salary cap issue. Now, you have 2 players potentially coming off the books, and depending on what they do in the offseason or even at the trade deadline, they could come off the books with
Being Ryan O'Reilly and Vladdy.
Yeah. So that could open up some space there. But the biggest issue is the minor league system is sitting at 24th. They're exhausting all their young talent because, honestly, they're bringing them up and using them. You got Jake Neighbors on the team, and they have a few guys in the minor league system that show potential. But other than that, they really need to retool. So I am looking at this as an opportunity, if you can, to get anything out of Tarasenko and O'Reilly to maybe retool the minor league prospect system and relieve some of your cap space.
Yeah, the injuries, particularly Tarasenko, just really kind of hurt. The timing's terrible with them being free agents coming up here. And Vladdy, with it being a known deal that he's wanted to trade for more than a year now, I'm with you. The Blues, 9-4-3 since December 15th. Pretty good clip there, right? A good chunk of this has been without Vladdy, without Ryan O'Reilly, not to mention without Torrey Krug and a host of other defensemen. So, yeah, I think the Blues can feel fairly comfortable with the notion of trading Vladdy or Ryan O'Reilly to get some prospects who maybe don't lead the Blues on a playoff push this season, but are part of a foundation going forward. Because let's face it, the Blues aren't doing bad without him right now.
Yeah, and you have a foundation core with Jordan Kyrou and Robert Thomas that you're going to build around for your new team,
Exactly.
essentially. So you need to start looking at retooling, and part of that process is maybe building up your minor league system a little bit and freeing up some cap space.
And
Another
maybe
pro,
some defense.
yeah, I was just about to get there.
Yeah.
One of the other ideas is that maybe on this trade, if you are like right on the fringe of the playoffs, which the Blues are, you could also potentially get a mid-range defender to come in and help shore up that back line to make a push for the playoffs as well.
Yeah, because I mean, you look. I mentioned there's a host of defensemen who are injured. Corey Krug's the big name, but there's what, like three others who are on the IR. Scandella comes to mind. I'm slipping off the top of my head, but none of them are premier defenders. I don't see the Blues, all of a sudden having an elite or even good defense if everybody gets healthy. So in that light, yeah, make some moves, get some highly thought of defenseman prospects.
Yeah, don't forget Robert Bertuzzo's out as well,
Yeah.
and Perunovic is not expected to come back until after April. So there, you're also missing Scandella. So, and he's not projected to come back until March, late March. So we really could use another body or two on the defensive side.
Yeah, because let's face it, the offense is okay. It's not great, but it's okay. This team is all about the defense. If the Blues can actually have a halfway decent defense, they might be a playoff team this year. And then you retool when you've got some salary cap flexibility heading into this offseason. And hey, maybe you've got a average, slightly above average defense if you make the right one or two signings. And then the Blues are close.
Yeah, I will say one of the good things is we're getting a good look at a lot of young guys to see if they're going to make an impact in the future for our club.
Yeah, that's the one bright side. You mentioned the minor league system being depleted and ranked 24th or whatever. And
Yeah,
part of that is because you've got guys like Neighbors. Heck, even Torpchenko is a young guy. Yeah, a lot of the top prospects, they're on the way up. So, yeah, I think the Blues need to embrace the fact that this is a transitional period for the franchise. There was an interview with Doug Armstrong, general manager, in November, December, where he seemed to just totally just shudder at the idea of a rebuild. And yeah, all right, fine. You don't have to just completely implode the franchise and be like the Cubs after they won the World Series and just destroy everything. It's a transitional period. I think the fans are smart enough to know that. With Kyrou and Thomas locked up on their 8-year deals, there is a foundation already in place, and there are pieces. So the Blues can maybe miss the playoffs a year or two while still being competitive, and in a transitional period where the fans can see, all right, this thing's building. We're going to be back pretty quick here.
I would argue they could even make the playoffs because for whatever reason they play better without Terrence Cinco on the ice.
Yeah, I mean, he's been out a good 3 weeks or something now, and the Blues are, as I said, 9-4-3 since December 15th, and he's been out for a good chunk of that.
Yeah, so it's a fantastic opportunity if you can get something out of those to just to get a return or a draft pick or even a couple of minor league players. Plus, then you aren't planning on re-signing them during the offseason, and you can take that money and start looking elsewhere and even maybe come up with another trade or two if necessary. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. And I think, as you said, the key is going to be this next 5 or 6 games. And if the Blues go on a 5 or 6 game winning streak, then who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, if the Blues want to do anything specific to this season, they've got to continue their play at this 9-4-3 mark I keep coming back to. They got to play at that kind of level for just about the entire rest of the season. And they've got to mix in like a 5 or 6 game winning streak in there somewhere to make up the ground. Because what are they right now? They are 4 points out of the wild card. And then if they want third place, which is Minnesota, Minnesota has games in hand, as do Colorado and Nashville, who are right behind the Blues. So it's not like we're talking about a 3-team race for 2 spots. This is a very competitive, very wide open.
Yeah. So these next 2 or 3 weeks are going to be very important, especially for whether we truly are sellers or buyers coming into this trade season. Until then, though, keep watching us. We'll keep you updated on all things Blues hockey. Basketball season's underway for Mizzou, and don't look now, but XFL is getting ready to kick into gear.
Hey.
So we'll have some news on that as it starts rolling out. Until then, keep watching Under the Earth Sports.